Good morning. We are now into late September and we're getting ready for the winter, and there's all kinds of things happening on the farm. There's new projects which I'll take you through. Clearing out greenhouses, going to build some new greenhouses. We'll get into all of what that looks like coming up next on The Urban Farmer. So as we get ready for winter, you guys are going to start seeing us put up things like poly low tunnels on the beds on various different plots. We're putting out fall crops right now, planting a lot of stuff like spinach, arugula, and red Russian kale, and we've got a ton of lettuce started in the greenhouses. These concrete pavers are going to be going into the main greenhouse for the floor for the winter. Mark is just heading out to do some bed prep and some planting at one of our other plots, and we've got Roger in the back greenhouse here tearing out our tomatoes, and we're finishing our tomato season early this year because I'm going to rebuild this greenhouse to make it bigger and heated so that we can have lettuce in there all winter long. I'm almost finished this raised bed in the greenhouse here, just putting in the last bit of concrete pavers along the wall, and then I'm going to level it out and then bring in some new soil for this, and then I'm going to start immediately planting all of this basil in that bed, as well as a few other things, but mostly this bed is going to be growing basil in the winter. It's an experiment to see if I can grow basil in the winter and keep selling it to grocery stores. It's become a very high value crop for us. I mentioned that in one of the last vlogs. And then we're gearing this up to go into full winter production with shoots. And we've got lots of lettuce that's going to go into this greenhouse that I'm going to build or rebuild next to this one, and our other greenhouses at our Lawrence Avenue plot. And then today we'll start to put down the concrete floor in here, and within this week what we'll also be doing is converting our post-harvest area that's outside to come back in here. So this is the last week of warm weather we're gonna have, like it's high 20s Celsius this week. Next week and the weeks after are going to be a lot cooler. Not cold per se, but not really warm, so it'll be nicer to be working in this environment, especially when we're doing our wet work. So our greens drying station will be coming back here, but I'm going to be building it a little differently. Our washing table is actually going to go here. The greens drying station is going to go over top of it and flip up so that we can have two things in the same area. And going to take out this old washing table and replace it with the spinning machine. That's going to go there. One of our walk-in coolers is going to go back here, and our washing tub is going to go here in place of this table. So lots of things happening on the home base right now. Also some new exciting developments happening. We are going to be taking on a new garden plot that is like a half a block from my house, and so today I'm going over to get acquainted with the new landowners. I've already met them and looked at their plot and decided that it's going to be an economical site for us to use. We'll be able to fit, I believe it was 11 48-foot beds in there. So it's not the biggest plot, but because it's so close to where we live, I can justify the size, and it's quite open. It gets lots of light. A little bit of an invasive weed problem there, but nothing that I haven't managed before. And so right now I'm heading over there with a MOU. Basically, it's just my standard landowner agreement that I go over with the landowners, and they check off all of the things. You know, we've got stuff on here like just outlining what we do, how often we're going to visit, covering things like noting things that if one of us gets injured, what happens, what if we damage their property. If you guys are curious about this stuff, you can get this for free off my website. Just go to theurbanfarmer.co/book, and there's an item in there called free extras. You can download this. It's covered in my book. I don't have the document in my book because we didn't have enough space for it, but the link is in there. You can download it, and I talk about it in my book. So anyways, it's all there. So I'm gonna go over there now, check it out, and talk to the landowners, and I'll give you guys a little bit of a tour of the plot. Just got the brakes on my bike fixed, and it's still squeaking a little bit, but this plot is super close, and it's basically just through this little alley here So this plot is like a little bit smaller than something I would normally take again, but it's because it's so close, it's very convenient. We can manage it all by bike, and we don't have, and the landlords are really chill. So that is super important for us. So I'm already here. And again, it's not the largest plot I've ever had, certainly not the smallest. And it's good enough. It's a good enough size, and it's so close to my house. It literally takes me 30 seconds or less than a minute to bike here. So it's a super convenient location. Landowners are awesome people, really switched on, love the whole idea. And so we might start doing some earthworks here before the fall. It's okay. Before the fall, there's some guys pruning trees over there. That's what that noise is. But the basic plan here will be to tarp this entire site before the winter. And those tarps will sit on all winter long. And then by about February next year, we'll come in here and start doing a lot of earthworks, rototilling, forming beds and stuff like that. We've got a bit of ground shaping to do because there's some weird slopes in here. Generally it's pretty flat. This is the south here, so I do have a bit of shade from these buildings, but I'm leaving about 10 feet off. So what might happen is at the very beginning of the season, if I wanted to plant here, I'd just be planting the further away beds that have full light, and then saving the last 2 or 3 beds that are closer to this south side shed until, you know, maybe May or something. So it's not that much of a hindrance. But yeah, it's great. It's a wide open plot, has tons of light for the most part. And yeah, you guys will kind of follow it and see how it goes throughout the season and going into next season. Just coming here to this plot to check on Mark's progress and the plot's progress. And we've got lots happening for the winter. Carrots, 3, 4, 5, 6, is that right? 2, 3, 4, 5 beds of carrots for the winter. That's great. Bit of spotty germination on the front. I don't know what the problem has been here this season. It's just like this little bed, this little area that doesn't germinate as well. We've adjusted the irrigation, so it's not the irrigation, so I don't know exactly what the problem is, but either way, plot's still doing good. Mark is just going to take out these flowering beds of arugula right now, turn them over, and then we're going to get spinach into those plots for the winter. And within the next couple weeks, we'll be putting poly low tunnels out on this plot, but we've still got a week of warm weather and a week after that of semi-warm weather, so I don't think we'll need to put tunnels out for the sake of frost. That's not an issue. The tunnels would be on there for the sake of expediting the growth of the crop and getting things, keeping things consistent so that we have a nice strong harvest going into the fall, because the greenhouse production won't be on for a little while. Alright, I'm at this plot that's just a block away from the last one I was at. Just doing a little checkup here. Still got lots of crops to harvest, though we're not planting anything else at this point. Everything we harvest from here on will just be tarped. So we don't keep crops here in the fall. There's just too much shade when the sun goes lower in the sky. So, but right now I've got 2 big beds of arugula to harvest. I should probably do this today or tomorrow because they are good to go, and I suspect we'll probably get another cut after that. And we've got some newly seeded crops. We've had the water off here for almost a week because we've had a lot of mixed rain and storms, so haven't needed to water, but the week's looking warm and sunny, at least for the next 2 weeks. Well, warm for this week, sunny for the next, but turn the water back on now. And then as we crop out, we just cover things up for the fall. Checking in at our Lawrence Avenue plot, and greenhouses are getting emptied. Pretty thinned out. We direct seeding spinach into this one probably around the first week of October. And in here I've got lettuce transplants going in, but they don't need to go in for another few weeks, so we've got lots of time to get those tomatoes out. In here we're looking pretty good for the fall. We've got lots of production coming on, new lettuces coming on, some beet greens we'll harvest this week, Radishes are back at this plot. Remember in the spring we had some problems with root maggot, but now we've had the summer for that to burn off. And actually, root maggot isn't as much of a problem in the fall for us as it is in the spring, so we're pretty much back to normal at this plot. We'll keep production here going far into the fall. We'll poly low tunnel some stuff, keep it going as far into the winter as we can. Besides doing a bit of harvesting, Mark's going to be harvesting some arugula and some lettuce. Besides that, be spending the rest of the day here. Roger's now got the greenhouse cleared out, so I can start pulling the poly off this and taking it apart. And I might get to that today. I'm not totally sure, but I will certainly be finishing my raised bed in here. Just got a few more pieces of concrete to go in there, level out the dirt. Then I gotta go get some more dirt that I'm gonna have to hand lift in here. So I think I've put on a bit of pounds and muscle since I've been doing this. It's been a hell of a workout. These things weigh 85 pounds each, so been doing a lot of deadlifting. Much needed exercise anyways. You'll notice I've got this piece of plastic on the outside, and that is just so that any water that comes through the cracks in this concrete will just go down. And the idea with this whole bed is to keep the soil off the wood part of my the front plate of this greenhouse, so that it stays dry and I'm not compromising the structure. So it's a little bit of an expensive garden bed to build. I think all said and done it'll probably have cost me $600, not including my labor. Definitely $500 in concrete, pavers, and then I've got about $100 in soil that I'm gonna have to add to this. I'm buying a really nice, it's called a Diamond Premium Mix. It's just compost and soil mixed together. It's 80 bucks a yard. So I might need a yard or a little bit more. I still have yet to calculate that. But the rest of my day will be spent doing this and taking things apart here, clearing stuff out, leveling out the ground to put in our pavers. Okay, I've got some random soil around the farm just in pots from when we did construction here last year. So I'm just gathering that dirt together and putting it in the bed, and that's gonna leave me some area to bring more soil into. So what I'm going to do is once I bring all this dirt in, I'm gonna measure out, I'm gonna level it out and then measure what I have as far as depth. I know what I have is length and width. I have 3 feet wide by 48 feet long. So whatever I have as depth, I'll just make, I've got a website that I'll go to and I'll show you it right now. I just put in how deep I have and the width and length of the area, and it just calculates how many cubic yards I need for soil. So then I'll figure out, you know, then I'm gonna go get that soil and bring it in here. Okay, so I just ran the tilther through here. Even though like I'm gonna add another 8 inches of soil here, that's what I need, which is going to be about 3 yards. I'm gonna kind of just take it as it comes. So I'm going to get a yard because that's all I can fit in my truck, fill it out, see, and just kind of go from there. So it might be 3 trips for me on the truck, not a big deal. But anyways, I ran the tilther through here to just kind of mix up what I'd put in here, because there was a lot of random soil and like stuff that had some like wood chips in it, old compost, old flats of microgreens and peat and all kinds of stuff. So kind of a shit mix. But I ran the tilther through it after watering it a number of times. I raked it, kind of chopped it up with the rake. There was lots of chunks. So now I'm just gonna sprinkle some fertilizer on this bit, run the tilther again, and then I'll start bringing in that new soil of mine, and I'll probably add more fertilizer amendments as I go as well. I want this to be really nice and fertile soil, especially since it's going to be growing in lower light conditions throughout the winter. So I want to have a lot of accessible nutrients to the plants so they don't have to struggle to find them like they would in normal soil. So I want to really make this fertile and loose and easy for the plants to thrive. At least that's the idea. We'll see, of course, how it goes. This is all going to be an experiment. I've never done anything like this before. You know, this is a heated greenhouse, and it's going to be nice and warm, but I'm not planning to supplement the light. So I've still got, you know, another good month of light, and even into October, decent amount of daylight then. But as I get into November, December, January, February, my light levels go drastically down as I approach the winter solstice. So I really want to make sure I've got all my other conditions besides my light in order so that these plants can thrive. So again, this is an experiment and you guys will see how it goes. Well, I'm just gonna give it one more little bit of water and then I'll be bringing in soil tomorrow. So that's the day, guys. Hope you found that helpful. If you want to see more stuff like this, hit the subscribe button right now. Like and share these videos with your friends. And check out my online course, profitableurbanfarming.com. And my book and other products that I have on my website at theurbanfarmer.co/book. If you would like to make a donation to the show, it's much appreciated and always welcome. You can do that at theurbanfarmer.co/support. All right, see you later.